Hare Krishna, welcome to this episode of Bhagavad Gita. Today's verse is chapter 7, text 16, which is the four types of pious souls who approach Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, we will look at this verse, chapter 7, text 16 of Bhagavad Gita. The four types of pious people who approach Krishna. Chaturvidha bhajante mam janah sukritinarjuna arto jignyasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha. Chatuh vidhaha, four kinds of bhajante, rendered services, mam, unto me, janaha, persons, sukritinaha, those who are pious, Arjuna, O Arjuna, artaha, the distressed, jignasuh, the inquisitive, artha arthi, one who desires material gain, jnani, one who knows things as they are, cha, also, Bharata Rishabha, O great one amongst the descendants of Bharata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: O best among the Bharatas, four kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Artha means distressed, artharthi, artho jignasu. The inquisitive, artharthi, is the one who wants wealth, and jnani, the one who knows things as they are. At least an impersonalist who at least knows things as they are means this is not the devotee. The devotee is more than just Sukritina. He is a Mahatma, as confirmed in 7.19, just three verses down. Krishna calls a person who is 100% surrendered to Krishna as Mahatma. That is the definition. But here there is Sukritina. Sukritina is of a lesser degree of piety. So if you see 7.19, बहुनाम जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान माम प्रपद्यते वासुदेव सर्वमिति समहात्मा सुदुर्लभः. So after many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. For him, Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Krishna is everything to him. So he does not have any other motives. Whereas the four kinds of Sukritina, they have motives. They are materialistic devotees. Even so, Jnani, how come Jnani is a materialistic devotee? Yes, because he is also after moksha. He may know body and soul, the difference between body and soul, but he has no understanding of Bhagavan realization. So such a person, since he is acquainted at least a little bit with spiritual knowledge, with the absolute truth, so he is considered Jnani, but he is not in complete Jnana. So Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So the Jnani, he attains to the Brahman realization. So at least he has touched the absolute truth, one aspect of the absolute truth. So he at least understands that, going after material pleasure is not good, and he may even understand the impersonal understanding of absolute truth. But he is not more than that. Jnani. So, purport. Unlike the miscreants, these are adherents of the regulative principles of the scriptures, and they are called Sukritina, or those who obey the rules and regulations of scriptures. And by the way, you can share this class in the groups because it was a bit late today. I was actually speaking with His Grace Nugopal Prabhu, who is here in the temple. We're just meeting up with him after his bout with the heart attack. So we just got a delay there actually. So please share it in the group so that other devotees can also join. Alright, so they're called Sukritina, or those who obey the rules and regulations of the scriptures, the moral and social laws, and are more or less devoted to the Supreme Lord. Out of these, there are four classes of men. Those who are sometimes distressed, those who are in need of money, those who are sometimes inquisitive, and those who are sometimes searching after knowledge of the absolute truth. These persons come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service under different conditions. These are not pure devotees because they have some aspiration to fulfill in exchange for devotional service. Pure devotional service is without aspiration and without desire for material profit. The Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11 defines pure devotion thus: Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. So, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. Abhilash means desires. Anya Abhilash Shunyam. So, every other desire than serving Krishna, than to serve Krishna, should become zero, Shunyam. Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. So, Jnana and Karma, it should be devoid of the desire to acquire Jnana or results of pious fruitive activities. Krishnanushilanam, for the favorably, however Krishna desires, just for his satisfaction. When these four kinds of persons come to the Supreme Lord for devotional service and are completely purified by the association of a pure devotee, they also become pure devotees. As far as the miscreants are concerned, for them devotional service is very difficult because their lives are selfish, irregular, and without spiritual goals. But even some of them, by chance, when they come in contact with a pure devotee, also become pure devotees. Those who are always busy with fruitive activities come to the Lord in material distress, and at that time associate with pure devotees and become, in their distress, devotees of the Lord. Those who are simply frustrated also come sometimes to associate with the pure devotees and become inquisitive to know about God. Similarly, when the dry philosophers are frustrated in every field of knowledge, they sometimes want to learn of God and they come to the Supreme Lord to render devotional service and thus transcend knowledge of the impersonal Brahman and the localized Paramatma and come to the personal conception of Godhead by the grace of the Supreme Lord or his pure devotee. On the whole, when the distressed, the inquisitive, the seekers of knowledge, and those who are in need of money are free from all desires, and when they fully understand that material remuneration has nothing to do with spiritual improvement, they become pure devotees. As long as such a purified stage is not attained, devotees in transcendental service to the Lord are tainted with fruitive activities in search for mundane knowledge, etc. So one has to transcend all this before one can come to the stage of pure devotional service. So, this is one of the well-known verses of Bhagavad Gita, the pious people who come to Krishna. So, this is the beauty of Bhagavad Gita. We don't have to conduct research. What kind of people will come to Krishna? Let's do a research study. No. Krishna is already giving us all the 4 different classes of pious people and 4 different classes of impious people. We just take his knowledge and then study the world, and then we know who is what, and that's how we can judge. So a judge, how does he judge a criminal's extent of criminality, or whatever it is, extent of the crime, or how much punishment should he get? All this is because there is a reference point. He is not whimsically judging. He is judging on the basis of the reference point of the constitution, the law book. Similarly, our law book is there, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. The mundane law book of the state, it's prepared by fallible humans who have come together and put together a constitution. Whereas the actual constitution, of course, we also have law books written by, say, Manu Smriti, Parashar Smriti, but these are done by liberated souls, not simply some mundane conference and some parliament and then passing of a bill and then making it into a law and act and all this. No, it doesn't work like that. So Krishna has all his laws and he communicates those laws through his books, Vedas, and through great devotees, great acharyas like Manu, etc. And of course, like even Narad Muni, Pancharatra Vidhi. There is a Narada Pancharatra, there is Parvata Pancharatra, there is a few Pancharatras. Pancha means 5. So Narad Muni is one of those 5. So in this way, they are also Smriti literature. They are Smriti literature. So they are also law books governing, devotional service. Especially Narada Pancharatra is about devotional service. Similarly, acharyas write books in pursuance of the Vedic knowledge also. We have Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami. They have written Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Hari Bhakti Vilas, etc. So all of these are, literature in pursuance of the Vedic version, Vedic scriptures. So such books are our law books. Even Nectar of Instruction. These are all our law books. So either by the Supreme Personality of Godhead or by his pure devotee, an authorized acharya in the disciplic succession parampara system, they can write. So when they give the knowledge, it is perfect. Why that is so? So this is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi 7.107. भ्रम प्रमाद विप्रलिप्सा करना पाटव ईश्वरेर वाक्य नाही दोष ए सब. The material defects of mistakes, illusions, cheating, and sensory inefficiency do not exist in the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna's words have no imperfection. Similarly, 2.86. Bhram pramad vipralipsa karna patav arsha vignya vakya nahi dosha e sab. Arsha means the authoritative sages. Who's an authority? Who comes in a sampradaya? Now, mistakes, illusions, cheating, and defective perception do not occur in the sayings of the authoritative sages because they are directly in communion with Krishna and they have fully realized the Vedic scriptures. Just like in our sampradaya, there is the example of Baladev Vidyabhushan, who wrote Govinda Bhashya, his commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, and that Govinda he titled it Govinda Bhashya because it is the commentary of Govinda. Why? Because Radha Govinda deity was the Govindaji is actually was speaking, and Baladev Vidyabhushan was just taking down his dictation. That was the commentary on the Vedanta Sutra by Baladev Vidyabhushan. So, a pure devotee, when he writes, Krishna is dictating. So that's why he does not deviate from the words of Krishna, and therefore his words are also pure and without defect. So from that we get knowledge. Whereas scientific method is they will conduct a study first of all. They will have a control group, they will have a placebo group, and a control group is a placebo. The other one is experimental group. They will do all kind of research to see whether it's working or not, and this is a very defective way of doing research. Whereas we take knowledge directly from Krishna. We don't have to do any research and wasting time. So Krishna has given us knowledge so that we don't have to waste time looking for that knowledge and coming to imperfect conclusions. He is just giving us a direct, correct conclusion, and we just take the knowledge and move on and do what is necessary to. Because our lifetime is very short here, so we need to do what is necessary to become completely Krishna conscious by the end of this life. So instead of wasting our time in all these speculations, everything is given so that we just have to follow. So 4 kinds of pious men. So of course in the previous session we have discussed the 4 types of miscreants, the 4 types of rascals who do not surrender to Krishna, who are so puffed up that they think they don't need to surrender to any god, there is no god. These conclusions, asuram bhavam ashritaham. Whereas the pious people, they may go to God not for any interest in God per se. They're not interested so much in God. They are interested to satisfy their own cravings, either grossly or subtly. Grossly in the sense, I have a physical or emotional distress because of something that happened, and I want peace. That is quite gross. It's visible. It's and then artharthi, those who want wealth, so that they can enjoy better in this material world. So these are both on a gross platform, whereas a more subtle, these two are in the karma platform, and the next 2 are in the jnana platform. One who is inquisitive, he is just inquisitive about things, and fortunately he may come in contact with the right subject to be inquisitive of. So that may be the signs of God. He may be inquisitive about this. And then finally the Jnani, who is just like Sukadeva Goswami was a Jnani, and the Chatur Kumaras were Jnanis. So there have been examples of such devotees who were Jnanis before, and they approached and they became pure devotees later on. In the beginning they were not devotees. They may be Atmaram, they may be already liberated, but because they are in the Brahman platform, they cannot go much higher unless they contact a devotee. Shukadeva Goswami contacted his father Vyasadeva, devotee, so he became devotee. And then the Chaturkumaras, they saw the Lord, they smelled the incense of the Lord and or the tulsi of the lotus feet of the Lord, and they became devotees. So in this way, they are the most elevated, of course, of all of them. I think that's the next verse. Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्ता एकभक्तिर् विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम अहम स च मम प्रियः. So you see, so Jnani is the best. So like Shukadeva Goswami and Chaturkumaras. Now the others are not so high grade. Even Jnani is also not exceptionally high grade. Because the Bhakta, Mahatma is the highest grade. So, but these are devotees, materialistic devotees. They are Kanishta Adhikaris. They are a third class devotee, and even among the third class, it is very low rung. And they can be led away, at least temporarily, because whatever they do to Krishna or do for Krishna, that will remain. That will remain in their spiritual bank balance. They don't have to, they will not lose it. But temporarily there may be a setback because their focus is not on Krishna, their focus is on their material sense gratification, and they may go to a temple of Krishna for that, and their desire may be fulfilled for the time being. But because of that, they may forget Krishna and pursue their materialistic desires. But of course, Krishna is also kind. He will let him lose for a while, and then after that, he will catch him. So that is also explained. Proportionately, as much as the devotee is advanced, that quickly he will capture him and bring him back. If the devotee is not that advanced, then if it strays away, it will take longer time than when a devotee is completely surrendered, and quickly he will bring him back. On this 1088.8 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yasyaham Anugrahanami Harishyetad Dhanam Shanaihi Tato Dhanam Tyajantyasya Svajana Dukkha Dukkhitam. The personality of God had said, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. He is coming for their artharthi, he wants wealth. Krishna says, if I especially favor, if I don't favor them that much, I may give him his wealth. If I especially favor someone, I deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. And the suffering of the distress is not because of lack of wealth. That's not the cause of the suffering. The distress is because he was attached to that wealth, and he can't digest the fact that he has lost everything, and because of that he has lost his status in society. Everybody has abandoned him. That is the cause of distress, and he quickly wants to gain that back. You see next verse. Sayada vitathodyogo nirvinnah syad dhanehaya matparaihi kritamaitrasya karishye madanugraham. When he becomes frustrated in his attempts to make money, you see, he will try to gain back that situation, and he will try various ways to make money, and he becomes frustrated in that, and instead befriends my devotees, I bestow my special mercy upon him. You see, that is his special mercy. Not only he takes it away, even when he tries to get it back, Krishna will not give. He will make sure he will not get. Like that, why should I worship Krishna? I rather not go to him for artharthi. No. See, he will give us what is our Prema pumartho mahan. Artha arthi. We want some material benefit, some material money. But he will give himself, who is the owner of the six opulences, of all wealth. He is not just prepared to give him all wealth, he is prepared to give him the owner of all wealth. He will give himself to the devotee when he becomes pure devotee. So he will get his artha, but for that we have to stay away from this material flickering artha, which will come and go. So we want temporary artha or wealth. He said, don't waste time with this temporary. I'm not going to give you this. I'm going to give you permanent wealth, not this temporary useless wealth. Antavattu phalam tesham. This is all for alpamedasam. This is all for useless, brainless people. You come to me. I'll give you all brains. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. I will give you buddhi. You are buddhu. I will give you buddhi. So, you come to me. You come to me. So I will give you, just like we have this classic verse by Dhruv Maharaj. I think Madhya 22:42. स्थानाभिलाषी तपसि स्थितोऽहं त्वां प्राप्तवान् देव मुनीन्द्र गुह्यं काचं विचिन्वन्नपि दिव्यरत्नं स्वामिन् कृतार्थोऽस्मि वरं न याचे. Varam na yache. I do not ask any benediction. See, Dhruv Maharaj started worshipping Vishnu because he wanted to have a post greater than his great-grandfather Brahma himself. He did not want to settle for anything lesser than that. He wanted to have a planet, a throne, a seat, most exalted in the universe, more than even Brahma. And he was given that. He was given that. But that is when Vishnu was confident that he will never deviate from his devotional service to me. Now, let's see. When he came with that motive of becoming the richest person in the universe, all wealth, if you want to be richest person in the universe, more than even Brahma, just you can imagine that greed. So, in that mood, he worshipped Vishnu. So, he was artharthi, and he was also kind of artha. He was distressed in a while, in a way, because his stepmother insulted him. But he wanted artharthi. He was an artharthi. He wanted artha, wealth. When he was being blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dhruv Maharaj said, "O my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe types of penance and austerity. Now, I have gotten you, who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons, and kings to attain. I was searching after a piece of glass, but instead I have found a most valuable jewel. Therefore, I am so satisfied that I do not wish to ask any benediction from you." So he compared the position of the overlord of the entire universe, or the wealth of the universe, as equal to some broken pieces of glass or pieces of broken glass. And he compared the Lord himself to a gem, a valuable gem. So that is the prema pumartho mahan. The greatest achievement, artha. Artharthi may go for artha, ordinary wealth, but he will give prema pumartho mahan, the greatest wealth, love of Godhead. We have that story of Sanatana Goswami. This man, one man, he was a Shiva Bhakta, and he was worshipping Lord Shiva. Please give me wealth, wealth, wealth. So Lord Shiva appeared to him and he said, "You go to that man. His name is Sanatan Goswami. You go to him. He is chanting in this Vrindavan. He has a hut and he's chanting there. And then he will have a stone. What is that? Chintamani, touchstone. So with that, whatever you touch metal, it will become gold. So he has that. You go and get it from him." So he went to Vrindavan and then he asked about Sanatan Goswami. He was very famous. So they all told him where he was, and he went to his bhajan kutir. And he asked him, Lord Shiva came to my dream and said that you have some Chintamani, touchstone. So he said that I can get it from you. Do you have it? Yeah, I have it. Well, where is it? Can you give me kindly? He said, yeah, can you do me a favor? There is some rubbish outside the hut, behind the backyard. You can, it is in that rubbish pile. I'm sorry, can you take it from there? Fine, sure, thank you. And then he foraged among the rubbish and he found it. So thank you very much, Sadhu, went back running home, happy. And halfway he realized, hey, wait a minute. If this Chintamani is in the rubbish, that means this is nothing for him. He has something way more valuable. No. Go back. He went back. How come this is in the rubbish? You must be having something much more valuable, that means. Yeah, I do have. Why didn't you tell me? Well, you didn't ask. So what is that? I want that. I can give you, but you have to throw that Chintamani in the river, Yamuna. Okay. He went and threw. Then he came back. What is that? This Harinam, this holy name of Krishna. Then he taught him the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and from there he became a great devotee. That man. So this holy name of Krishna, Purna, Siddho, Nitya, Mukto, Abhinnatvan Namanaminoho. The holy name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. So Krishna is the owner of all opulence. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Tatra Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhute Dhruvanitir Matirmama. So, and Shadaishwarya Purna. Krishna is, Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Brahmasevyamanam. Lakshmi, everybody is after Lakshmi. But Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Brahmasevyamanam. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So millions of Lakshmis are worshipping Krishna. That person, his holy name is non-different from him. So by giving him the name, he gave him the highest artha. Prema Pumartho Mahan. Himanshu is saying Mukundamala Stotra 40. That's right. Pashana Kashtha Sadrisha Yadadhatya Bhishtam. Satyam Bravimi Manujaha Swayamurdhva Bahur Yo Mukunda Narasimha Janardaneti Jivo Japatyanudinam Marane Raneva Pashana Kashtha Sadrisha Yadadatya Bhishtam. O mankind, with arms raised high, I declare the truth. Any mortal who chants the names Mukunda, Narasimha and Janardhan day after day, even in battle or when facing death, will come to regard his most cherished ambitions as no more valuable than a stone or a block of wood. There is another verse, Mukundamala 14. पृथ्वी रेणुरणुः पयांसि कणिकाः फल्गुः स्फुलिङ्गो लघुस् तेजो निःश्वसनं मरुत्तनुतरं रन्ध्रं सुसूक्ष्मं नभाः क्षुद्रारुद्रपितामह प्रभृतयः कीटाः समस्ताः सुराः दृष्टे यत्र स तारको विजयते श्रीपादधूलीकणाः. Once our Savior has been seen, the whole earth becomes no greater than a speck of dust. Countries are now fighting for a little bit of land. India and Pakistan are fighting, India and China. Then there is Ukraine and Russia, Israel and Palestine, and then all kinds of fightings everywhere. Now, just for a little land, what if I can have the entire earth? Everybody would want that in this material world. But Prithvi Renuranu Payamsi Kanika. Prithvi Renur. Anu. Renur Anu. So, once our Savior has been seen, the whole earth becomes no greater than a speck of dust. All the waters of the ocean become mere droplets. Who cares about droplets? Who cares about a speck of dust? Nobody. So the whole earth, a devotee who has seen Krishna or who has come in contact with Krishna by the holy name or whichever way, for him the most valuable thing will become nothing. Nothing. Speck of dust. Who cares about it? Nobody. All the waters of the ocean becomes mere droplets. Now countries are fighting. They want to, get their submarines into the water and then, go close to the border of another country and then, intimidate them. You want to control the waters. And of course, trade route, the ships are big, part of the trade across the world. And in the ocean there is also oil drilling, sometimes offshore. They have so much wealth in the oceans, actually. So, but it becomes like droplets. Who cares about droplets? The totality of fire becomes a minute spark. Countries are gathering or accumulating more and more firearms, weapons, which will ultimately be fire, right? And nuclear weapons, they are hoarding and then they are showing their power by holding fire. How much fire they can hold. But the totality of fire becomes a minute spark. And also oil. Now you see, because of the Ukraine and Russia war, the oil prices have gone up. And that is, that is what gives rise to electricity. That fire and then water, all these things. That is, and also the whole running of the planet. The vehicles and all these things run on fuel. So fire has its use. So much of use, right? Even ships, everything, everywhere, fire is being used as weapons, as locomotion, everywhere. So, but the totality of fire becomes a minute spark. Who is interested in a spark? Nobody. So for a devotee, these most valuable things will become useless, will become pointless. Like the position of Brahma can become as insignificant as a broken piece of glass. Then what to speak of this earth? Earth is already like one speck of dust in the universe. Dhruva Maharaj got the whole universe under him. And then he considered that as a useless thing. Bali Maharaj easily gave it up. His supremacy over the three worlds. Gave it up when Krishna asked. He was not attached. Devotee. The winds become just a faint sigh. The winds become just a faint sigh. Wind can be destructive. Fire also can be destructive. Earth, water, everything can be destructive. So all the five elements are being mentioned here. The expanse of space becomes a tiny hole. So all these elements, the air, the space, ether, and the fire and water and earth, all the five elements, Panchamahabhut, are mentioned here. And then the demigods, of course. So in this way, all are mentioned and they all become useless or worthless compared to Krishna. And the winds become just a faint sigh, and the expanse of space becomes a tiny hole. You see, the wind, air, manipulation of air. There is aeroplane, there is all kinds of, even what is that called? Radio waves and everything. I think that is, you can say, space. So these things, space and air, so much used. Air traffic control is big. I mean, the military, there's Air Force, they drop bombs from the sky. Nowadays, having drones. So they're controlling the air, they're controlling the water, they control land, army, Air Force, Navy. They want to control all the elements. Earth, water, air. Fire, of course, fire is their firearms, their weapons. And space, that also they want to control. They want to put satellites and get scan every place of the earth, everything. They are trying to control all the 5 elements, and they're now trying to go to other planets, travel in space. So many things they're trying to do to control these things, whereas it will become insignificant compared to devotional service. Insignificant. He's not interested. So whereas the Dushkritina, the impious rascal, he may be Kritina, like in the purport of that verse 7:15, Prabhupada says, Krita means some meritorious act, meritorious activity, some merit. So there is some merit definitely to materialistic scientists. It requires a lot of brain to come up with what they have come up with. But it is used for the wrong purpose. They're trying to, control a particular, element or few elements like that. But it's completely pointless. The real thing is we have to become Krishna's servant. That is what we are. We're trying to become controller in this material world, which is anyway going to not last. Antavat phalam tesham. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. Here everything is not shashvat or eternal. So why should we waste our time in accumulating these things? So the Asuric mentality, they want to control these 5 elements. You see? And in that way they want to control their influence. As much as they can control these elements, they think they can control. That's why they are trying to exploit the resources of material nature. That's what they're doing. And great lords like Rudra and grandfather Brahma become insignificant, and all the demigods become like small insects. Indeed, even one particle of dust from our Lord's feet conquers all. One particle of dust. Not even the Lord, not even the dust. One particle of that dust conquers all these things. And Rudra and Brahma, greatest of the demigods, they themselves become, all the demigods become like, insignificant, like insects, like cockroach. Dimitri is saying, they say we make progress, but what is the ultimate aim of their progress? They do not know. If they do not know the aim, how do they know they make progress? Progress means what? If you are getting close to your destination, that means progress. But if you do not know what is the destination of human life, how do you know you are making progress? So, just like in a GPS, it will show you, okay, your starting point, your ending point, and it may take maybe 30 minutes. And then when you start moving, the minutes will reduce and reduce, and then your car will be showing on the path, getting closer and closer to the destination. And that's how you know your progress. And then nowadays there are, in the Google Maps, there is share trip progress. So you can share the trip progress with your, suppose you are going to your parents' place. So you have started from your place, and then you can, share the trip progress with them so they can see live where you are. So, progress. Progress means a destination is first of all fixated. It's first fixed up. What is the destination? And then you know whether you are making progress. If I'm just moving is not progress. Because where do I need to go? I don't know. So, how can I call it progress? It is just wandering. Like a loafer. So, a loafer has no progress. He is just moving around. So we are all a bunch of loafers in this material world. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasada Paya Bhaktilita Bish. If among all such loafers, if anybody is fortunate, that fortunate loafer will become come under the guidance of a spiritual master, under the shelter of a spiritual master. And he gets the seed of bhakti and then starts real progress. Until then he was just wandering like a vagabond, loafer. So, if we move about only, that is a loafer. If we move around fast, that is a fast loafer. That's all. You're still loafer, nothing has changed. Just that I'm going fast wherever I'm going. But I don't know where I'm going. Speed and direction. Actually, I did a Instagram live on this Tattva Darshan show. Speed and progress. So speed is not equal to progress. What 21st century, I mean this modern era, they are increasing speed, but they don't know destination. If you go fast towards wrong direction, what is the use? So this is foolishness, actually. So they are called Sukriti, those who come with these desires, they are Sukritina, but they are not pure devotees. Pure devotees is a different class, Mahatma. Now, you see, it's interesting. 716, this is Sukritina. 719 is Mahatma. Okay, I think we have not understood this point. You see, 716, Sukritina, pious people. And 719 is the Mahatma. Right? And these are lesser. These are mostly karmis and jnanis. Now, dangerous combination. Vajrakishore was saying dangerous combination. Speed and wrong direction is a dangerous combination. See? This is the Tattva Darshan show, episode 30. Movement is not equal to progress. So now, I'll show you another verse of Mahatma. There also, here the Sukritina are mentioned first, or the pious souls are mentioned first, and then the Mahatma is mentioned. In the 9th chapter though, 9:13, Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritimashritah bhajantyananya manaso gyatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, Mahatmas, are under the protection of the divine nature, Yogamaya. They are fully engaged in devotional service, Bhajanti Ananya Manaso, because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. So this is Mahatma. And they also, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantascha Dradhavrata Namasyantascha Mam Bhaktya Nitya Yukta Upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So he's still talking about Mahatmas. Next verse. Jnana yajnena chapi anye yajanto mam upasate ekatvena prithaktvena bahudha vishvato mukham. Others, they're not in the same category. They may be looking at the absolute truth, but of a much lower grade. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge, jnana yajnana, worship the Supreme Lord as the one without second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. These are secondary conceptions of the absolute truth. They're not the primary conception of the absolute truth. The primary conception is Bhagavan. And his presence in this material world, Ekatvena, Prithaktvena, Vishvatomukham, this Vishwarupa, these are all secondary. They are not important manifestations of the absolute truth. They are only to attract the attention of the mundane people. Like universal form is very grand, and wow, it's everything in one place. You can see how the Lord is controlling everything. And Arjuna describes the entire Sanjaya, I think Sanjaya, Arjuna. They describe whatever is the Vishwarupa, the universal form of the Lord. That is awe inspiring. I mean, so magnificent and so huge, so vast, unfathomable size and power. But for the devotee, he's not so much interested in that. He is interested in the loving form which he can serve. So he is not excited about jnana. Oh, the Lord is the controller of the universe. Oh, he's controlling this part, that part, everything in the universe. Oh, fire, and then everybody is dying and going into his mouth. Wow, this is good. This is wow. Everything is happening. He is not interested. The gopis are not interested in a Vishwarupa. What to speak of gopis? Arjuna was himself not interested. He was getting fearful. Oh, this is too far away for me. It's like I can't have a relation with this form. I can't have a friendly relation. I can't have a relationship with this form. This is just like that. That's all. What else can I do? I can't serve. I can't have interaction. I can't serve. How to serve? How to dress Vishwarup? We can dress the deity because he is in a size which we can manage. But if he expands as a Vishwarup, like when Bali Maharaj was giving his land, and Vamanadev expanded, with 1 foot he covered the entire earth. How are we getting dressed to dress the Lord? We're getting some cotton or whatever it is, some cloth, and that cotton is coming from some plant somewhere, cotton plant, in a small portion of the earth. Now the entire earth itself was trampled by 1 foot. How can you find cloth for such a person? How to find? You can't. You can't serve. So that may be wonderful for a neophyte, but for a devotee is not so. Like I think in 2008 or 9, once there was this phenomenon where Krishna was drinking the milk, and like Krishna Murti, and then people, it was happening everywhere, and then they put a spoon by the Krishna's mouth, and then the Krishna drinks. I mean the what is that? Spoon becomes empty, and everybody was sharing for videos like that. Now, so some devotees came to me and, wow, look at this, Krishna is drinking. Why are you so surprised? Okay, Krishna is drinking, fine, good. I mean, maybe it is to instill faith in some faithless people. But Krishna is everyday drinking and eating. You are everyday offering, right? You have no faith that he is eating. What is the prasadam? Your Sarira Vidya Jal, Mahaprasada Govinda, all you are saying, what is the use? You have no faith that Krishna is eating what you are offering. Only when it is becoming empty, you are saying, oh, this is a miracle. But Krishna is eating and putting everything back on the plate for you to eat. That is more of a miracle than he emptying it, because now don't have prasadam. But he is giving you back after eating. That is more of a miracle. How can somebody put everything back? Now you may say, hey, you are just making, what is this? He did not even touch. And then you are saying, he is giving, and then you are making a big story out of it. No. Krishna can eat in different ways. He can just see and eat. With his eyes he can eat. And he is eating. Why are we making a comparison between our eating and Krishna's eating? We eat in one way. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachate Purnasta Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. What is the meaning of that? Purnam. Now why are we taking prasadam then? What is the difference between prasadam and ordinary food? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also glorified prasadam. Unless this is tasted by Krishna, how come the taste is so nice? It has touched the lips of Krishna, that's why it is intoxicating. So this is not just imagination, we are not imagining. So we shouldn't be too excited about these things. We should have the faith every day. I mean, every time we offer, we should know that at least because not of our devotion, but at least we are chanting Prabhupada's name and Prabhupada will offer to Krishna. And because of Prabhupada, we can rest assured that Krishna is taking it. Krishna is, that is the mood with which we have to offer. Krishna, please take it. It is. I know it is unfit for your consumption, but please make all of us fortunate by taking this preparation. I have no devotion, I have nothing, but I have come with something here. Please accept. Prabhupada says in one lecture, he even cries in that lecture. He says, it's just a feeling, the bhava. Please take it. I am completely unfit to serve you. Millions of Lakshmis are serving you, Radharani is serving you. Who am I? Why you need to take my food? But I know one thing, you are very kind. Even though you have everything, even though you have the best food, but still you will accept because you are Bhakta Vatsal. You care for your devotees. So please accept and make us fortunate. So in that way, that feeling is what Krishna accepts, and then he accepts the food with that. Bhaktya, what is that? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. So ashnami, I will eat, but bhaktyupahritam, it has to be offered with bhakti. So he will take. So there is a chance to serve him. So these others, they are into this Vishwatomukham and universal form, diverse in many pantheism and one without a second, Advaitam, is impersonal understanding, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, one without a second, Advaitam, or diverse in many, pantheism, this is also God, that is also God, everything is God, or universal form, or the universe, or his universal form. So these are all lower stages of realization of absolute truth. So you see, whenever he identified a soul as Mahatma, in comparison he compared the others who are either Sukritina, in this case today's verse, or in that 9:15 here, Anye, who are not Mahatma. What do? They were still kind of pious. These are also pious people. I mean, they at least are approaching the absolute truth in their own way. I think there was a verse shared by, I think in the Bhagavatam, I think just yesterday I was reading. Let me try. I don't seem to remember. I think it's in the 12th canto. Oh, yes. I think 1090. Let me search this one. 12:48. I don't know. I'm just like wild guesses. No, there is a verse which says that everyone is perceiving him in different ways, just like everyone according to his stage, he is perceiving the Lord in different ways. So that is the main point of that verse. So according to one's advancement in realization, he approaches the Lord as either Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, or lower things also, like universal form and Advaitam. Advaitam is kind of Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, and diverse in many, pantheism, So these are all at least directed towards the absolute truth, but not in a very perfect way. So anyway, there are many such verses which, especially that verse. Yeah, yesterday only I was looking at it. I don't know. Somebody shared. I don't know. I completely lost track. Ittam Brahma Satam Sukhan. No, Ittam Satam Brahma Sukhana Bhutya. There is also kind of. There is also, 12:8:49, is that so? Right. 12:8:49. Yeah, this is a good verse actually. 12:8:49. यद्दर्शनं निगम आत्मरः प्रकाशं मुह्यन्ति यत्र कवयो जपरायतन्तः तं सर्ववादविषयप्रतिरूपशीलं वन्दे महापुरुषमात्मनिगूढबोधम्. My dear Lord, the Vedic literatures alone reveal confidential knowledge of your Supreme Personality, and thus even such great scholars as Lord Brahma himself are bewildered in their attempt to understand you through empirical methods. Each philosopher understands you according to his particular speculative conclusions. I worship that Supreme Person, knowledge of whom is hidden by the bodily designations covering the conditioned soul's spiritual identity. Yes, this is actually a very, very good verse. Actually that verse has an analogy. It compares it with something like the same thing, how different people see it differently. Maybe it's the example of a fire, maybe fire, smoke, and this thing. I don't know. But this is also very, very good. And of course, 10, 12, 11, which Vrajagishwar Prabhu has commented upon. Vrajagishwar Prabhu has shared. इत्थं सतां ब्रह्म सुखानुभूत्या दास्यं गतानां परदैवतेन मायाश्रितानां नरदारकेण साकं विजहरुः कृतपुण्यपुञ्जाः. So the other verses 7 to 10, they are all descriptions of how Krishna's cowherd boyfriends, they play with him, and finally this verse was spoken. In this way, the cowherd boys used to play with Krishna, who is the source of the Brahman effulgence for Jnanis. So Jnanis, for them, he is the source of Brahman effulgence, desiring to merge into that effulgence. And he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead for devotees. So they worship him, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the devotees who have accepted eternal servitorship, the Dasyam Gatanam Paradaivatena. For those who have become servants, especially Dasyaras, for them he is the Supreme Master. And for ordinary persons, Maya Shritanam Naradarakena. And who for ordinary persons is but another ordinary child. Ordinary persons consider Krishna as another ordinary child. So everyone has their own way of perception of the absolute truth. The cowherd boys, on the other hand, having accumulated the results of pious activities for many lives, were able to associate in this way with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How can one explain their great fortune? So, in this way, associate in this way means associate with him by playing as equals. The previous verses, the 7 to 10, is all about how they were playing with him. They are not considering him even as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no. They are not worshipping him, you are the Supreme Master, no. Playing with him, making fun of him, mocking him, defeating him in mock fighting, all kinds of things. So, what kind of pious activities they must have performed that Jnanis, yogis, great, what is that? followers of Varnashram system, or even ordinary people, they have all different ways of looking at the personality of Godhead, but the ones who are especially close to him, the cowherd boys, and especially, and even among the above them, the Vatsalya Ras and the Madhurya Ras, these are confidential. So a person who is Mahatma, he is established in one of these 5 rasas or mellows of devotion with Krishna. So he is 1087:19. Let's see, 1087:19. Dimitri Prabhu is saying 1087:19. Okay, not exactly, but this is close also. Apparently, entering among the variegated species of living beings you have created, you inspire them to act, manifesting yourself according to their higher and lower positions, just as fire manifests differently according to the shape of what it burns. Therefore, those who have spotless intelligence, who are altogether free from material attachments, realize your undifferentiated, unchanging self to be the permanent reality among all these impermanent life forms. Not quite. It is somewhat close, but anyway, that 10, what is that, 12, 8, 49, and then the 10, 12, 11 quite nicely explain that as well. So this is the thing. So Mahatmas are like that. So Sukritina is it is Krishna's saintly nature that he calls them Sukritina, although they're actually still interested in materialistic desires. But since they have at least a sense of submission to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are called Sukritina. So Krishna sees, you see, Sevam Managapi Kritam Bahuda Bhyupaiti. That is one of the characteristics of Krishna. Sevam Managapi Kritam Bahuda Bhyupaiti. Bhrityasya Pashyati Guruna Pinaparadhan Sevam Managapi Kritam Bahuda Bhyupaiti. Avishkaroti. What is that? Pishuneshva Pinabhyasuyan Shilena Nirmalamati Purushottamoyam. This verse is a very nice verse. See, Sevam Managapi Kritam Bahuda Bhyupaiti. Managapi means very. Oh. I think this 1070:37, maybe. Yeah. I think this is also kind of like 1087:19. But anyway, it's already kind of. So 1070:37. Why did I even go to this verse? Anyway, so Sevam Managapi Kritam Bahuda Bhyupaiti. Managapi means, you see, very little. You see, Sevam Managapi, however small. The service, however small, and the offense, however great. You see, Pashyati, na Pashyati, Pashyati na. Pashyati Gurun api na aparadhan. So he does not see, even though the offenses are very great, and even if the service is very small, he considers it as great thing. Even if the offense is very great, he considers it as a very small thing. So this is how the Lord is. And a pure devotee also comes to this platform. Even if somebody offends him very greatly, but he doesn't take it very seriously. Even if somebody serves the Lord a little bit, he will appreciate. He will consider it a great thing. Sevam Managapi Kritam Bahuda Bhyupaiti. Avishkaroti Pishune Shapinabhyasuyam. He is not envious of the demons who are envious of him. Shilena Nirmalamati. Shilena means, gentle behavior, very calm. Shilena. Nirmala Matihi. Mala means contamination. Nirmala means no contamination. Pure heart. Pure hearted personality. Purushottamo. So, even if somebody submits a little bit, although he is full of material desires, Krishna considers it as very great. He will call him Sukritina. And after Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate, many lifetimes of being against me, like a rascal, if now he surrenders, he will immediately call him Mahatma. Although until now he has been a Duratma, a rascal number one. But he just surrendered, immediately Mahatma. Sakrideva prapanno yastavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadadyetam vratam mama. So Ramachandra Bhagavan, he says, Sakrideva prapanno yas. Even if once he surrenders, I will give him complete protection from that day on, from that point of time on. I will give him. Just for once surrender, eternal protection. So that is the Lord. So Sukritina, Krishna is kind enough to call us Sukritina if you come to him with different desires, but actually we are rascals of the first order. Prakrita Bhakta, third class devotee, not very high grade, easily fallible. But Krishna is encouraging us, Sukritina, good boy, come, you're a good boy, you come to me, you're a good boy. But actually you're still rascal, but just to calm you down and just to encourage you, good boy. So Krishna is like that, he's calling Sukritina. And Mahatma, Bahunam Janmanam, he is saying in the first line of that verse is Bahunam Janmanam, Ante. Many lifetimes he has wasted, trillions of lifetimes he has wasted, but now, Jnanavan, now he got some brains, then Mam Prapadyate, which he is supposed to do since day one, but he did not do. He wasted his time for trillions of lifetimes. But now he got some brains and he surrendered to me. Mahatma. Just look at him. So we should not be too puffed up. Oh, I am Sukritina. I am among the pious. Krishna told pious, I am pious. Krishna told Mahatma, I am Mahatma. See? I also surrendered. You see? I am great, Krishna said, Manushanam sahasreshu kaschit yatata siddhaye yata tam abhisiddhanam kaschin vetimam tatvatah. I am that one person out of millions of people. I can see Krishna is encouraging us in many ways. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschit yatata siddhaye yatatam abhisiddhanam kaschin vetimam tatvatah. Out of millions of people, hardly one knows Krishna. At least hardly one even comes to Krishna among millions. And if I come, should I consider myself great because I am best among many millions? He is comparing us with millions of other criminals. Among criminals, we are a little bit better off because we have come to Krishna at least trying to mend our ways. But still I am criminal only. But he is encouraging. Oh, you are a rare breed, you are a great Mahatma, you are a Sukritina. But I should know that I am rascal number one. So, anyway, Krishna is kind. It is for our own reflection I am telling like this, but Krishna actually thinks, although he knows we are rascal, he knows. But if he knows we are rascal, why does he come? Out of his mercy. He cares for us. That's why he repeatedly comes and enacts his pastimes, speaks Bhagavad Gita and leaves behind books and sends acharyas to help. And when somebody is making a move towards him, he will be greatly happy. That brings him very, very high grade of satisfaction. In fact, he says, whoever does this, preaches my message, is very dear to me. Very dear to me. No, nobody more dear than he. So, that's why when somebody makes a move, he like you see, punya and papa. Punya means what? Original. Punya means original. See, I think Punyagandho, right? What is that? 7.9 Bhagavad Gita. In the purport, Prabhupada explains nicely there. 7.9 Punyo Gandha Prithivyam Cha Punyaha original. I am the original fragrance of the earth. Now in the purport, Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. So actually Punya means original. Our original position is to be servant of Krishna. Srimnatam Sukata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. That is our original duty. But ordinary karmic activities are also called Punya Karya. Are they our original activities? No, how that they are not. But at least they help the performer in whichever slight way it may be towards the original path. Because if he commits so-called pious activities, he will call it pious. Krishna has called it Sukritina, pious activities. But what is he doing? He is going to heavenly planets and trying to enjoy. Nothing he has learnt. Lesson not learnt at all. Still the same rascal. But he is calling him pious because he is doing some religious ritualistic activities. At least he is doing some Vedic sacrifice. And in that there will be worship of Vishnu, at least officially. So fine, at least you are doing something better than nothing. You are pious. Punya Karya. But actually they are not original. But at least they will help one to come to the original path again. That is the whole point of this religious ritualistic performances. So the ordinary pious activities do not actually bring one to devotional service, but it makes the person more and more in the mode of goodness, so that he has a higher likelihood of meeting sadhus who are always in the mode of pure goodness, and he will go to those places where the sadhus also might go. Like for example, people go to Ganga to take bath and deposit their sins, and a sadhu also goes to Ganga and he takes away all the sins from Ganga, because Ganga is now full of accumulated sin of all the people who are bathing. So when the saintly person comes, he takes away all the sin of that place. That is explained in the 9th canto, 9th chapter, 6th verse of Bhagavatam. So there is a higher likelihood. So a pious person may go to Ganga, and a pure devotee also may go to Ganga. An impious person may go to a brothel. A pious person, a devotee, will never go to a brothel. So when he is in the mode of ignorance, he will visit those places, he will do those things, he will interact with those things in the mode of ignorance, and saintly persons will never go that side. So but when he does pious activities, he has a higher likelihood of associating with everything in the mode of goodness, and he there may contact a pure devotee. So by doing pious activities, he is just making his case a little bit better by situating himself in the mode of goodness as much as possible. And like Prachina Barhishat, King Prachina Barhi, the father of the Prachetas, in the 4th canto you will see, he was an extremely pious person, but he was not a devotee. He was a karmi, but pious person, so doing all the religious ritualistic ceremonies and respectful to the Brahmanas and everything, but he was not a devotee. But because of his piety, Narad Muni came there, and then he instructed him in devotional service, and then he became transcendental goodness. Of course, the sadhus are so merciful that they will go to even tamogun, rajogun people and then elevate them also. Narad Muni, he delivered Mrigari. He delivered a snake also. So many things he did. And Prabhupada, he delivered all people who are in the mode of ignorance and passion only. Even now are. He is delivering everybody and giving them moksha. Not just moksha. What is moksha? Giving them Krishna consciousness. 996 Shri Bhagiratha Uvacha Sadhavonyasina Shanta Brahmishta Loka Pavana Harantyagam Tengha.
997 Shri Bhagirath Uvacha Sadhavonyasina Shanta Brahmishta Loka Pavana Harantyagam Tengha Sangat Teshvaste Aghabhidharihim. 998 Shri Bhagirath Uvacha Sadhavonyasina Shanta Brahmishta Loka Pavana Harantyagam Tengha Sangat Teshvaste Aghabhidharihim.
Bhagirath said, those who are saintly because of devotional service and are therefore in renounced order, free from material desires, and who are pure devotees, expert in following the regulative principles mentioned in the Vedas, are always glorious and pure in behavior, and are able to deliver all fallen souls. When such pure devotees bathe in your water, he is speaking to Ganga Devi. When such pure devotees bathe in your water, the sinful reactions accumulated from other people will certainly be counteracted. For such devotees always keep in the core of their hearts the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can vanquish all sinful reactions. This is the power of pure devotee. So it only increases the likelihood. That's why it is encouraged in the Vedas. But ultimately, it is actually not encouraged. It is not encouraged. Pravrittiresha bhutanam nivrittistu mahaphala. So everybody wants regulated sense gratification. They want sense gratification. But nivrittistu mahaphala. Ultimately, we have to give it up. Because it's not going to give us any tangible benefit. The point about coming to Krishna consciousness is a little bit different though. Ordinary pious activities are just, there is expiry of such results. Antavattu phalam tesham. Tetam bhuktva sargalokam vishalam. Shene punya martilokam vishanti. That's not worth it. But those who do devotional service, even a little bit, neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo navidyate. Pratyavayo navidyate. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So those who do even a little bit of devotional service to Krishna, they will be insured. They will not fall back from that position. Even if they seemingly fall back, they will continue from where they left off. No problems at all. But the karmi, no. He will so-called start from where he left off. But where did he leave? Somewhere. There's nothing great about it. Like a person who is musically talented from a young age, that means he is starting from where he left off from his previous life. He is also living. So he learned music this year, this life, the next life, he may have. So he is also kind of starting from where he left off, right? In a way, yes, because karma and whatever we thought at the time of death, we become that in the next life, so we actually start off where we left off in the previous life, in that way. But there is no asset, there is no permanent asset in that. Whereas a devotee, whatever he does is permanent. In the music, whatever he does, that's not permanent. No, not permanent. So what if he is a musical expert? He still may be a rascal. And he will keep rotating in the cycle of birth and death. So there is not much benefit. There is no benefit there. But here there is benefit. So we should rise above this artha, artharthi, jnani. But you see, we should know, a second class preacher should know that Ishvare tad adhineshu balisheshu dvishatsu cha prema maitri kripopeksha yah karoti sa madhyamaha. So when we are preaching, we should know who is of what category. Because a second class devotee is a preacher and he distinguishes that this is the Supreme Lord, this is his devotee. He doesn't confuse the devotee to be the Supreme Lord. No. He sees clearly. This is the Supreme Lord, this is his devotee, and this is the innocent and this is the envious. Now the Supreme Lord is the Supreme Lord, and of course there's Krishna, there's Balaram and all his expansions. But devotees, there are again classes. First class, second class, third class. You see? So they are all devotees. And with each we have to associate accordingly. Nectar of Instruction, verse 5. Krishne riyasya giritam manasadriyetam dikshasti chet pranatibhishcha bhajantamisham Shushrūshaya bhajana vigyamananyamanya nindadi shunya hritamipsita sangalabdhya. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. So this is the lowest rung. those who have at least started chanting the name of Lord Krishna, but they're not very advanced, but at least chanting the name of Lord Krishna. Mentally, we should honor them. One should offer humble obeisances with his body, that means, to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation Diksha. If he has undergone initiation, then we have to pay obeisances and is engaged in worshipping the deity. So, such a person we have to pay obeisance. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. You see different grades of devotees, first, second, third. Actually, this is not first, second, third. This is not that Diksha means he is already automatically second, not yet. He may still be third class. So, of course, in the in the third class devotion, there are sub. We can actually draw up a whole chart about this. In the third class devotion, there is devotional service in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. All of them are Prithak Bhava. 13, 29, 8, 9, 10. You can see. And 11, 12 are the pure devotional service. 3, 29, 11, and 12. Those are pure devotional service. 3, 29, 8 is mode of ignorance and passion and goodness. So, 10 is goodness. So, in that way, that is third class devotee, all third class. Then there is Balisheshu, innocent people. Now, among the innocent are these Sukritina. So, those innocent can be categorized as a Sukritina. Arto, Artharthi, Jignasu, Jnani. They are all not devotees, not even third class, but they have come to Krishna innocently to mitigate something, wanting something, but in an innocent way. Balisheshu, innocent. They can be made into devotees. And Upeksha, Dvishatsu, Upeksha. Those who are envious of Krishna, we have to neglect. The preacher has to neglect them. So how to identify who's envious? Namam duskritano mudha prapadyante naradhama maya paharta jnana asuram bhavam ashrita. So whoever has these tendencies, 7.15 of Bhagavad Gita, they are the envious, Dvishatsu. And the 7.16, this is all are Balisheshu. They are pious. So in this way, when we interact with people, then we will know, okay, then we know how to encourage that person or, deal with that person. So we have to judge. So how to judge, how to deal with this person? Whether I should, you see, Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. So he has to cultivate his devotion, second class devotee, cultivate his devotion to the Supreme Lord and make friendship with devotees. And that friendship is again subdivided according to what stage of devotion he is. And then Balisheshu, he has to show Kripa. Kripa, mercy. So mercy means to, help him come to Krishna in a more serious way. So that Kripa, so he has to help him, guide him to Krishna consciousness. So how to show, and what are those Balisheshu people? And then Dvishatsu, Upeksha, what kind of people we have to, avoid. Leave them alone. So, but of course, the devotee sometimes goes out of the way to challenge the atheists and to defeat them in argument, just so as to attract their attention towards the Krishna consciousness movement. Classic example is Srila Prabhupada. The scientists are Maya Apaharita Jnana, right? Their knowledge is stolen by illusion. Though they have come up with stupid theories like Big Bang and like evolution theory, Darwin. So, Maya Paharta Jnana. So, Prabhupada should have, this is a Namam Duskritana Mudha, these are all envious people, leave them alone. Neglect. But no, he attacked their philosophy. This is where the devotee's mercy is so overwhelming that he can't see these rascals wasting their time and suffering by coming up with this nonsense theories and then helping neither themselves nor others, and then they're cheating others. So Vaishnava cannot stand such such a heinous crime. So he will always try to help. So he will challenge. He may go out of his way and challenge those atheistic people and defeat them in argument. If they don't join us, at least those who idolize them, they will see, at least some of them at least will see this person has defeated my so-called idol. Okay, let me see what he's got. Then he may read and then he may become devotee. Of course, there are other people also who will become more agitated. But truth, he will present the truth, and at least to save some, he is prepared to take all hate from everybody who may not support him. So, this is the thing about devotee. He will go out of his way. Krishna said, don't preach to the faithless, and in the 3rd chapter also Krishna says, don't disturb those who are materialistically inclined or involved. But a devotee goes and disturbs them. No, this is not good for you. Hey, don't tell me anything. I know what I am doing. No, you don't know what you are doing. You please listen to me. So they get angry. Who are you to tell me? Who are you to preach to me? They don't like to be preached. Nobody likes to be preached. So Dimitri is saying, so externally it may look like we are arguing with them, but actually we are trying to help them. Yes. So the example Prabhupada gave, when an exorcist is a person who helps a person who is haunted to remove that ghost from that person. So that's an exorcist. So an exorcist, when he sees a ghostly haunted person, in order to get the ghost out of the body, he will shout looking at that boy or that person. But actually he is not shouting at the person, he is shouting at the ghost who is haunting that person. So when a devotee argues with that person, he is arguing with that Maya who is trying to curtail the understanding that the person is supposed to have. And by that shouting, the Maya, the witch or the Pisachi or the ghost may go away from that haunted person, and then he may become alright. So similarly, a devotee may shout and sometimes argue with these people, but actually he is attacking that Maya which is stopping the knowledge. But if Krishna's will is that this person is not going to understand now, he is too much in the mode of ignorance, then it will be evident in a while, and then the devotee also sees, okay, fine, let's spend my time on someone else. Of course, he wants everybody to become devotee, but if he is not willing, then okay, go to the next person. Don't waste time. Because I have limited time in this world, so I must preach to as many people as possible. And other people also don't have time. Everybody is fighting for time. So if this person is wasting time, not accepting, not respecting or anything, I just leave him. But at least try once and see whether he will, like Jaga and Madhai were completely nonsense. But Nityananda Prabhu went against. They were faithless. Preaching to the faithless is an offense, but he went and got, hit by them. But still, he asked them to chant the holy name, and then eventually they became devotees. So a pure devotee can do that. Now we have to follow the footsteps of pure devotees, and by the pure devotees' mercy, they will become devotees. You see? So in this way, we have to understand these things. You may say, we may think that, I am already a devotee, I am not coming to Krishna for artho, artharthi, jignasu, jnani. So why? Maybe a little bit of jnana, but it's okay. That's all for lower class people. This verse is not for me. Huh? See, that's the thing. It has different applications. So for a person who is a devotee, he must know how to identify an innocent person and an envious person. And these are all the symptoms. We have to catch these things. And then Krishna will give intelligence, how this all knowledge applies to every class of devotees. How it is useful for every class of devotees. Right? So we can never think that, Krishna's, I already know this, there's no other application. No, Krishna, if he gives intelligence, then we will see many, many applications for every verse. If he gives intelligence, dadami buddhiyogam tam. So, that happens to those who are tesham satata yuktanam, those are always engaged in devotional service. They will get the realizations. That's why we have to engage in devotional service and read and chant and everything. So then everything will be properly understood. So I'll stop it here, and if anybody has questions, I will take. Bharat Soni is asking question. Hare Krishna, I want to know how to balance karma and dharma together. Is it possible? Because you have to earn money for your family and also balance your spiritual progress. I am new and first day in this group. Sorry if not relevant. It is relevant, definitely. So, sthane sthita shrutigata. So that's what you need to do. So what is that? How to balance karma and dharma? Dharmasya hi apavargasya narthorthayopakalpate. What is that? Dharmaikantasya kamo labho hi smritaha. Kamo labhaya hi smritaha. 129. धर्मस्य ह्यापवर्गस्य नार्थोत्थायोपकल्पते नार्थस्य धर्मैकान्तस्य नार्थस्य धर्मैकान्तस्य कामो लाभाय हि स्मृतः. All occupational engagements, that means all our work, are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. कामस्यनेन्द्रिय प्रीतिर्लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य तत्व जिज्ञासा नार्थो यश्चेह कर्मभिः. Life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's works. So how to balance karma and dharma? In Kali Yuga especially, dharma is practically nil. Little bit here and there, whatever sentimental dharma we are doing out of whatever we have learned from our parents and all that. So, our dharma is practically nil. Our karma is fully almost 100%. So, how to balance? Basically, we have to decrease our engagement in this material world and use that same time to increase our engagement in the spiritual activities, devotional activities, Krishna Bhakti. So how to balance? Now I have to work. Okay, work as much as is necessary to maintain your body and soul together, your family together. That's it. Don't go for luxuries, because working for luxuries is waste of time. Just do as much work as is necessary to maintain the body, and whatever remaining time, use it for self-realization. Use it for sadhana, use it for practice, devotional service, Krishna consciousness. So that is how we have to balance. And it is easier said than done, because oh yeah, okay, fine, that is good, okay, I'll just do self-preservation and then I will do Krishna consciousness. No. Maya will try every second to convince you that you have made a bad decision. Come back to me, I will reward you. She will give a kiss. Come to me. Always inviting. How she will invite? The colleague will suddenly say, or the student, or what is that? Classmate will say, hey, did you see yesterday? Excellent movie released. I watched first day, first show. Super, you should watch. Maya's invitation. Next, hey, this thing is happening in the world. What is that? This news, this big whatever war or whatever, or some what is that? What do you call it? Natural calamity, typhoon, something like that, or this thing happened. Inviting us always to spend our time somewhere, except Krishna. Always, if this topic finished, died down, another topic starts somewhere. So, always there is distractions. Sometimes happiness is a distraction. Sometimes distress is a distraction. Everything distracts us from Krishna. Maya has unlimited tricks up her sleeve. Unlimited tricks. She will never get tired of her tricks. She will use it no matter what. So we have to be alert. So it's not just by reducing our work, to a minimum, and then after that I'll use it for Krishna consciousness. How to use it for Krishna consciousness, and how will it even go to minimum? How will I be convinced? Unless I read regularly, I hear regularly, Shravanam if it doesn't happen, and followed by that Kirtanam. If it doesn't, if we don't chant Krishna's name, if we don't hear his topics, then we will not be inspired. We will be only inspired by Maya, and we'll follow her path. What she is recommending, not what Krishna and the Guru is recommending. You see? So, how to balance? Sthane sthita shrutigatam. Don't have to change anything. Not that not that you today have to give up everything and take sannyas. No. Sthane sthita. Wherever you are, stay there. No need to change your position socially. But shrutigatam, tanu vak manobhir. You have to dedicate your life to hearing about Krishna. You have to read Prabhupada's books. That's what you should do. And automatically you will become conducive to devotional service. You will want to take up the chanting. Nobody needs to force you. Chant now. You want to, of course somebody has to show you that, chant now. Chanting? Okay, what is this? I'll definitely do it. So that willingness of chanting, willingness to chant, willingness to perform devotional service, engage in devotional services, various types of services. So these will come when we hear and understand the importance of devotional service. So that hearing is very important. Hearing is extremely important. Sthane sthita shrutigata. You see, this Yudhishthira Maharaj asked the same question. 7:14:1. Shri Yudhishthiruvāca grahastha etam padavim vidhina yena chanjasa yayad devarshe bruhi madrisho grihamudhadhihi. Maharaj Yudhishthir inquired from Narad Muni, O my Lord, O great sage, kindly explain how we who are staying at home without knowledge of the ultimate goal of life may also easily attain liberation according to the instructions of the Vedas. So, similar question of yours. But you see answer. Shri Narado Vacha Griheshvavasthito Rajan Kriyaha Kurvan Yathochitaha Vasudevarpanam Sakshad Upasi Itam Mahamunin. Vasudevarpanam Sakshad. Narad Muni replied, My dear king, those who stay at home as householders must act to earn their livelihood, and instead of trying to enjoy the results of their work themselves, they should offer these results to Krishna, Vasudev. Now you are working, you are getting some money and all this. Don't just give it to your family. Give some to your family, but 50% of one's wealth should be given to Krishna consciousness movement. 50%. If you can't do immediately, try with what you can. But come to the state of 50% at least, because ultimately you have to come 100% to Krishna. But we can't because we have family obligations. Okay, fine, 50%. See, hey, I worked hard. How can I 50% I can give? Yeah, that is devotional service. Not that I work hard, I keep the results. Then what did I understand? Karmanya vazikaraste mahaphaleshu kadachana. This is how we learn. We have to donate. We have to give to Krishna. The brahmachari, the grahastha is giving 50%, the brahmachari 100%. He goes and begs, whole day begs. And whatever he gets, he gives to some spiritual master, guru. Finish, everything. Sarvalabdharpanena cha. There is no compromise in this principle, 100%. Because he has no family. Because the grahastha has a family, he has 50%. Okay, 50% you keep, never mind. You give me only 50%. Only 50%. Not 50%. No. Only 50%. Not 100%. Okay, never mind. You have family, understand? Okay, 50%. Brahmachari 100%. Sannyasi 100%. So, our life is about dedicating our life to Krishna. If I fear the prospect of donating to Krishna, then I have not even started on devotional service. Where am I? I can't even give my money. What to speak of myself? No, Prabhu. I will come. I will do full service. I will volunteer. I will give all my free time to Krishna only. Money, Prabhu, sorry. So I will give most of my life to Krishna. Yeah, a little bit I will work, but most of the time I will spend my life to Krishna. Good, well and good. But why not that money? That means we are attached. Attached. So, Krishna knows what we are attached to. He will strike where it matters. He knows how to give a perfect blow. He does not do it personally. Maya does it for him. I hope that answers the question. Bharat Soni. Suppose I am not able to offer anything from the four things. Can I remember Lord or imagine I am offering a beautiful flower or fresh fruit or dress them in my imagination since I don't have access? Is it possible, sir? Yes, if you don't have access, it is possible. And there are devotees who do manasik seva. But I don't believe that you have no access to these things. I firmly believe that you have access to these things. You mean you don't even have access to a little water or a fruit or a flower? I don't believe that. So you must. Otherwise, how you are eating? If you don't have access to water, how you are surviving? That means you have access to water. How you are eating? That means you have access to food. Offer that to Krishna and eat. So this saying that no access means you're in some desert somewhere, and even deserts have access because of trade. They get their access of. Like in Singapore, I'm in Singapore. Singapore does not grow anything almost. Yeah, they're trying some urban farming and all that, but nothing. I mean, it hardly constitutes anything. Everything they import from other countries, they have access due to trade. They don't grow it, but due to trade, they have access. So with the transport system so good, I don't believe you have no access. People are living in Arctic. Of course, they eat meat and fish and all these things, but people are living and they have access to vegetables also. So I don't believe that you have no access. That's why Krishna is smart, you see. Suppose I have no access, you are saying, right? Krishna knows. Somebody may come up with an excuse like this. So it's not believable. It's not believable that somebody has no access to any of these things. Then he would have died. If he has no access to fruits or vegetables and water, he will die. He would die. Especially water. If you have no fruits and if you eat meat, yeah, you can maybe survive. But the meat, that animal has to eat some plant, right? Ultimately depends on plant. So without plants, you cannot even eat meat. So this is nonsense. So Krishna is made in such a way that everybody has food and water and all these things. These are basic things Krishna provides, some way or another, either by natural way or by trade or whatever it is. There is some arrangement. So, and Krishna says, Yogakshemam mahamyaham, I will take care of the devotee who serves me. So if we want to give, Krishna will give us to give him. Krishna will give us to give him. So of course there is Kolavecha Sridhar who did the meditation of the worship, opulent worship. He did not have any money. Of course he was offering whatever he could, and his meditation was perfect. We don't have, honestly, we can't even chant properly with attention. We're going to meditate with attention. Agachit smaranam Vishnor bahvayasena sadhyate oshthas spandana matrena kirtanam tu tatovaram. Although capable of destroying all sins, the remembrance of Lord Vishnu is achieved only with extraordinary effort. Remembering Krishna is extraordinary effort. On the other hand, one may perform Krishna Kirtan simply by moving one's lips, and thus this process is superior. So chanting is superior to this thinking and meditation and doing Manasik Puja because, or honestly, to be very honest, we don't have such mental strength to concentrate so deeply in the pastimes of Krishna and serving him. No. Chanting, that also we don't have, our focus. I want to remember Krishna and do all the seva. Let's start chanting first, properly. Then let's see. If someone finds that verse, share it on WhatsApp, please. Dimitri Prabhu. Every day I am rewarded by Maya. She is so expert. She is too super expert. Himanshu Prabhu. I have realized that whatever so-called lavish thing people eat few times in a month after working like an ass for a whole day for a materialistic person, we get more lavish every day as prasadam after offering to Krishna in temple, which purifies us also at the same time, and we work on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then I feel how fortunate we are. Jai Srila Prabhupada. It's true. I mean, we offer Raj Bhog to Krishna, and then we get to partake of the prasadam, which is still Raj Bhog to Krishna, which is now prasadam. So, yeah, devotees have access to all these things, but of course, he should not just be eating and doing nothing. He has to distribute it also. Not only do the devotees eat, they also distribute prasadam to many hundreds and thousands of people, whereas a rich man, he only feeds 4 or 5 people in this family, that's all. That's all. Whereas the so-called poor devotee who has no money, he feeds hundreds and thousands of devotees, thousands of people, prasadam. But the so-called rich man, he can only feed only 4 or 5 people. And maybe the, bellies, he may fill up the bellies of his employees' families. Few people. And that too, what is that? And that is also not prasadam. So, that 1088.9 when Krishna, 1088.8 and 9, when Krishna says, I deprive the person who comes to me for material benefit, I deprive him of his wealth. When he says that, and then Svajana Dukkha Dukkhitam, he suffers one distress after another. The distress is not because of lack of wealth. The distress is because of the ego being hurt. Oh, I used to be known as a famous man and a very high profile man. Now you see nobody cares for me. Ego is hurt. That's why he feels Dukkha Dukkhitam. And he tries to regain that ego back by trying to earn more money. And Krishna does not allow. He knows how to, get a person back to him. So, we should not be shuddering with that, oh, Krishna is what? No, this is, and he feels the pain only because of ego is hurt. But a person who has no ego, or no ego, true ego, no false ego, he, even if he is poor, he is very happy. He does not have a salary, but he is very happy. He has no income at all, but he is still happy. He is carefree. So, this is the difference. The suffering is because of our attachment, and if we lose our attachment, that causes more suffering. So, but if we are not attached, attachment is the root cause of suffering. So, we should not be attached. So, if we are attached and we are also trying to be devotee, then Krishna will mercifully remove that attachment. That is Krishna's mercy. Like you see, Artho Artharthi. This is the verse. Satyam dishatyarthitamarthito nirnam naivarthado yat punararthitayatah swayam vidhatte bhajatam anichhatam ichhapidhanam nijapada pallavam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives. See? Sukritina person, he goes to Krishna and he fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives. But he does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benedictions again. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his own lotus feet, even though such a person does not aspire for it. And that shelter satisfies all his desires. That is the Supreme Personality's special mercy. So this is the way how Krishna deals with Sukritina. He mercifully brings them back to his fold and make them Mahatmas. Gives them Dadami Buddhi Yogam, gives them brains, gives them intelligence how to come back to him. All right, I think that's the end of it. Thank you all very much. जय श्री श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण.